guys, welcome to my channel if you're new here, and if you're not, then welcome back. My name is Ren, and today I thought we would talk about some character tropes that I don't like. And of course, this is just my opinion, so if you like that trope, please don't be offended, don't take it personally. You can like whatever tropes you want to like. These are just the ones that I don't like. The first character trope that I want to talk about that I don't really like is the Femme fatale character trope, which is the trope where a seductive and cunning woman is like the protagonist and the hero that saves the day. I like that women are protagonists, yes. I don't like the seductive part. If the main character just happens to be very seductive, that's fine, but it's just used a lot. Think like Catwoman in The Batman Returns, or Amy Doon in Gone Girl. They're very, very good examples of seductive femme fatale, and I just feel like it's overused and can paint women in this light where they're supposed to be seen as seductive. So I don't really like that one. Another trope I don't really like is the stereotypical nerd one, you know, like the glasses and braces and big sweaters, because I feel like it really traps nerds specifically in like this little box, because everybody kind of makes them the same way. And that also goes for like the smart characters in sci-fi movies or like spy movies, the computer nerd. They type something in the computer and they're like, oh, I'm in, or they say something smart and then the protagonist goes in English when, you know, they were speaking perfectly good English the first time. So that's just another trope that I don't really like that much. I think that nerds are very cool characters if they are done in a more in-depth way that gives them a bit more depth, more personality other than just, I'm nerd, my personality is nerd. Think like, I don't really watch Stranger Things, but I like how nerds are portrayed in Stranger Things. Like, yes, they have some nerdy hobbies like Dungeons and Dragons. I love Dungeons and Dragons, by the way. And things like that. But they're not seen as like, oh, these like smart geeks that get bullied and pushed around to do homework and shoved into lockers. I like that kind of nerd. Another example I don't really like would be the Stoic character, and that would be a character that rarely shows any emotions. Now, if there's a reason for this, it works. If they're showing emotions, sometimes it works. Like in The Witcher, there's a reason why he doesn't have emotions to show, so that works. But if the character is capable of emotion, I feel like in order for the story to be good and for you to get attached to the character, I feel like they need to show some emotion. Even if they try hard not to show it. You can show it through micro expressions, or they can be stoic on the outside and then turn their back, and when they turn their back on the people around them and only the audience can see, maybe they could shed a tear or sigh. Just little things like that can really bring a character to life. But if you're doing stoic and they're just blank, stone face, no emotions ever, no motivations, then nobody's going to get attached to that character. And again, this is my opinion, of course, so don't take any of this to heart. If you like characters like that, then that is perfectly fine. This is just a way to give a stoic character a little bit more depth. And then there's the Chosen One, a character with a destiny or unique power. Examples of this would be Neo from The Matrix, Harry Potter, or Anakin Skywalker. And I just feel like that trope is done into the moon and back. Everybody wants to have that thing that makes the character important, and there's not really much depth to, the Chosen One. Were they cursed? Is that why they're chosen? Like Harry Potter? Did a family member die and leave all of this in their will? Like, what makes them chosen? What makes them so special? I feel like characters that are main characters, since the trope is so used up, the whole chosen person trope, I feel like more characters should just be in the wrong place in the wrong time. You know, have them get into all of this trouble, just a misunderstanding. Maybe they're not the chosen one. Maybe they were mistaken for the chosen one. Maybe there is no chosen one and they just happen to fall into some power or find some magical item in like a chest on their adventures, and this whole big destiny befalls them not because they were chosen for it, but because of just bad luck or good luck. I feel like that's what is needed to make the character more interesting and more in-depth, because yes, you can be chosen all you want, but what happens if the chosen one just says no? What happens if the chosen one doesn't want to be chosen? Can they just not? These are things that, like, you don't really think about when making a chosen one character. A lot of people don't. It's also just the amount of stories that have to do with this chosen one. Harry Potter, The Matrix, Lord of the Rings, all that jazz. I suppose in Lord of the Rings, Frodo wasn't exactly chosen. Well, he kind of was. He wasn't the chosen one. He was chosen, but he was only chosen because of who his uncle was. So there's no, like, big prophecy. Gandalf just kind of said, hey, deliver this ring. Out of all of those, I would have to say that my very least favorite character would be the Manic Pixie Dream Girl. And if you don't know what that is, a Manic Pixie Dream Girl is kind of a stock character type in fiction, and they're usually depicted as young women with eccentric personality quirks, and their only real purpose is to serve as the romantic interest for the male protagonist. The term was first coined by film critic Nathan Rabin after observing Kristen Dunst's character in Elizabethtown. And I am reading this from Wikipedia. So that is my site, Manic Pixie Dream Girls on Wikipedia. And the characters themselves are known as one-dimensional, and they exist only to provide emotional support for the protagonist. They also don't usually end up with the protagonist in the end. They're kind of just there to make the protagonist see the wrong in his ways and to feel better, and then they're gone. They're seen as either somebody without flaws, or as a character that flaws are put away as cute little quirks. They can be annoying, but they're lovable, and the main protagonist grows to love them, and she never has anything wrong with her. She can't have any personal issues, because then she'll be a real person, and then the main character won't see the error to his ways. He won't learn from it. They're called a Manic Pixie Dream Girl because she's kind of just the dream girl, you know? So that's why I don't really like that one. Think Scott Pilgrim versus the World. The girl with the blue hair. She's a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Or the Christmas movie Elf. The main character there, she's also a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Just about any movie you find where the main character is a white man, if there's a girl if he falls in love with a girl but doesn't end up with her, or you can't tell where they are, like, relationship-wise by the end of the movie, but she's quirky and cute and silly, she's probably a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. That's why I don't really like that trope. I feel like it just gives men a false idea of what they should have in a woman. It makes them think that we don't have our own problems when we definitely do. We're real people too. I also don't like the trope where the parents are very neglectful or abusive, and that's why the character has trauma. I get that happens in real life a lot, but I feel like with characters and OCs, people always tend to lean on that as an excuse for the trauma that they put their character through. And I feel like it's just an overused concept. Again, like I said, I understand that this happens in real life as well, but I've seen it with OCs so many times that it would be nice to see a character with a loving family. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest there. I also see a lot of, my character's covered in all of these scars and bruises because they were extremely bullied, and that's why they're evil, and that's why they're like this, like that. What kind of bullying are they getting, like, complete scars across their faces from? What kind of bullying is leaving them without an eyeball? That is not bullying, that is torture, and they need to go to the doctor, and the police need to be called. So I see a lot of characters like that, and I do think that the people making their characters with backstories like that, I do feel like they are very young, so there is a little bit of leeway to put there. And of course, like I said, make your characters however you want. I just feel like, in my opinion, a good character needs a bit more depth than that. Yes, they can have all of these scars, but they need, like, a proper reason to have them. They can't just be like, oh, my bully ripped out my eye. That's not bullying. But I've seen it so many times, specifically with younger people. Now, if they were to say that their bully pushed them and they fell down the stairs and hit their head on a railing and almost died, or their bully pushed their face into the dirt and didn't realize there was a stick there and it poked out their eye. I feel like that has a little bit more excuse for something like that happening. But just physical trauma for the sake of giving them trauma, a lot of people, pardon me, I just drank a big old coffee, so I've got little burps. I feel like a lot of people just lean into that trope just because they want to give their character cool scars, which I don't blame them. Scars look really cool. I love getting my characters like cool battle scars. But they always have a proper backstory for it. Like, they've gone to war, or they were in a fire as a child, or something like that. It's just more in-depth backstory. It's not just, oh, my parents hated me, or I was bullied. I feel like that's just overused a lot in fiction. Like I said, these are my opinions. These are my opinions. Don't come at me in the comments if you don't like it, 'cause these are my opinions. Anyway, so the video is not too long now, so I still have some time to talk about character tropes that I love. So, one of them I will always love, it's kind of like a reverse isekai, I don't know how to say it. You know when a character is from, like, the human world, the boring human world, and they get transported magically into the, like, fantasy world? I like the opposite. I love stories where the fantasy characters end up in the human world and they have to learn how to do things without magic or hide themselves from humans. I think it's really interesting. And I feel like it has a lot more at stake than the other way around. Think like The Devil is a Part-Timer. That was one of my favorite animes growing up, and I wish that there was more episodes because there's only like, maybe 12 or 20, somewhere between there. I binged it, so I don't know, it went by really fast. But that was one of my favorite animes, and yeah, it's about like the devil of this world getting transferred, like just not transferred, getting transported to Earth, and he has to deal with getting a job and paying bills and paying rent and trying to find a way home all at the same time without being able to use magic. It's quite interesting. It's a good anime, so I definitely recommend it, but I do like that trope a lot better than the boring human getting transferred to the fantasy world, because I feel like that one's overused a lot, especially in anime. But yeah, that's a really good one. I also really like it when fantasy worlds just have little dragons everywhere. Like dragons aren't really an issue. They're just small ones that they use for, you'll have like a small little dragon just chilling at a coffee shop, and like, oh, you want your coffee heated up? Yeah, they just blow a little bit of fire into your cup. Just like, kind of like how we would have bodega pets, like bodega cats. Just little bodega dragons. I feel like that's cute. I like fantasy worlds that do things like that, because it's very interesting for me. Instead of like, oh, we have to slay the dragon. The dragon's a friend. They're little dragons, big dragons. Kind of like How to Train Your Dragon, how all of the dragons have different jobs towards the end after they realize that the dragons aren't a threat and they're treated more like family and friends and like working pets. So I like that as well, that trope as well. Just dragons. Another trope I really like, this time with couples, is I really like smart, strong, capable woman with himbo man, dumb but handsome man. And so the man's just like going about his life, he's trying to make the woman happy and he's messing everything up. But he doesn't know he's messing up, and he's just happy. He's just chilling. He's a little dumb. And she knows he's making a mess, or she knows that he's not doing things right, but she loves him anyway and appreciates what he's doing. Think like Beast Boy and Raven, kind of their vibes. The character in the speed drawing now, they're kind of like that. I have my merman character, Marcos, and his partner, Penelope, and Penelope is a royal guard, and she's very smart and very capable, and he is not the smartest at all. But I absolutely adore this trope. I think it's a really cute trope. I just like himbo characters in general. I think they're so much fun and so endearing and adorable. I would say the last trope I'm going to talk about, because I don't want this video to get too long, that I really like would be a loving father with a lot of money but not enough time on his hands. So he's showering his kids with gifts and presents and money because he's trying to show that he loves them and that he cares and that he's thinking about them, but he doesn't really have enough time on his hands to really focus on those kids. Like, maybe he's got a very busy job and he can't take time away because then he won't make enough money to support his kids, but his kids don't really know that. And I specifically like it when towards the end of the story, the story ends with him making time for his children or his wife. Specifically, he uses all that money that he's normally showering them with, and he takes them all on this big vacation, or he starts working less hours and spending more time with his kids and making sure that he's home in time for dinner. So that way he's still giving them the attention and love that he wants to give them, but he's not using money as his main way to show affection. So they feel like they're properly appreciated and loved. Also, the wife. This is another trope I don't like. I'm just gonna bring it up real quick. I have, in fact, heard another creator talking about this in a similar video. I think it was, I don't remember who it was, but I do remember watching a video where another creator mentioned this. I hate it when the wife's only purpose is to give the male character a biological child and then she just dips or dies. I feel like that is used so often. Especially in Disney films. Disney was notorious for this because he lost his mother at a young age, so he was doing the same thing. But I know a lot of creators will have the father be in the child's life, and then the mother will just be gone. Either she left for no reason, or she suddenly became ill. But there's a huge trope, like people do this all the time, where the mother's only purpose is to give the man a child and then dip. If the man needed a child, why couldn't he adopt? It's just so, why does it have to be related? And why can't the mother be there? Like, why can't they be alive still? Like, even if they had split custody and he got to see the kids every other week, and she got the kids one week, he got the kids the other week. But it's never the case. When I see this trope, a lot of the times it is specifically the mom is just nowhere to be seen. No mother at all. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't get to be there for your children. You're just dead. That's it. It's a little tangent, but I've seen that trope so many times as well. Alright, I think that's it for now. I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Also, I know in the beginning I spelled characters wrong. I am so sorry. That's about it. If you like this video, then please let me know in the comments what you thought about it, and let me know what your favorite and least favorite tropes are as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please subscribe if you like my channel. It really helps out a lot. I would really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. I hope that you drink a lot of water, or like a reasonable amount of water. Don't make yourself sick. And I hope that you have a very nice week. Bye!